Can you double check, please?
It's 12 minutes past 1. It's minutes time. You're under arrest on suspicion of murder. Do you understand the offence? You're under arrest for the meeting time. Okay. Suspicion of murder for an incident which occurred in Salford. All right. So you were taken to police station for question regarding that.
Okay, I go with you and I answer any questions.
Yeah. All right.
And guys, in this next news story, CCTV footage showed a man carrying his dismembered housemate's torso in a blue bag for life after bludgeoning him to death, flaying his face off and then sawing his body into 27 pieces. Today, a jury convicted Marcin Majerkiewicz of the murder of Mr Everett and chopping up his body. Fucking hell. In harrowing clips from April the 2nd last year, Marcin could be seen walking around Salford with the hacked up body parts before dumping them in a nature reserve. In one, Marcin swapped the bag, clearly extremely heavy, from his left hand to the right, and also stopped for a few seconds, putting the bag on the ground before continuing. His friend Stuart Everett's torso and thighs, which weighed around 12 kilos, were found in a bunker at Kersaldale Nature Reserve, Salford, wrapped in cling film by horrified members of the public in April last year. Police were at that stage unable to identify the murder victim, as Marcin had stolen his identity, sending cards and messages to relatives purporting to be from Mr Everett to make it seem as if he was still alive. But Marcin was arrested 3 weeks after the grim discovery, when two plainclothes officers working on the inquiry spotted him by chance walking in the other direction. While they knew what the suspect looked like at this stage, they did not know his identity and therefore had not established that the torso belonging to Stuart Everett, as he hadn't been reported missing. The officers turned the car around and followed the suspect on foot before he got on the number 100 bus. Shortly afterwards, PC Paul Ashworth pulled his police car in front of the bus and boarded it. Marcin was told he had been identified as a person of interest in a police investigation, and he replied, "It's definitely a mistake, 100%. Police launched the manhunt after a horrified member of the public made the grim discovery of a torso and thighs wrapped in cling film at a Salford nature reserve last April. It was immediately obvious that the body part belonged to a man who had been sawn into pieces. Mr Everett, who, like his killer, was of Polish heritage, had not been reported missing, as Marcin had cynically sent messages and greeting cards in his name, pretending he was still alive. The 42-year-old was dramatically seized on board a bus after police traced CCTV of him walking towards where the remains were found, carrying a heavy bag for life and returning without it. They discovered that Mr Everett, from whom he sublet a room at a house nearby Winton, had not been seen alive for weeks. Detectives pieced together Marcin's movements in the days after the killing and found a further 26 parts of his body at 4 other locations. However, only around 1/3 of Mr Everett's remains have so far been recovered, with the rest feared to have been lost in nature. His skull alone was split into several fragments, with his face stripped off and dumped separately. When father of two, Marcin, was arrested 3 weeks after the torso was found, he was carrying 2 mobile phones plus bank cards in the name of Mr Everett. The heavily tattooed takeaway worker told police, "It's definitely a mistake, 100%, but searches of the house he had shared with Mr Everett revealed a different story. Bloodstains and saw marks were evident that something terrible had happened," the prosecutor said. A skip outside contained a string of incriminating discoveries, including pieces of the carpet from his room containing diluted blood. Police believe a hacksaw to cut up his bones. One was found with Mr Everett's DNA on it near the reservoir wherever the skull fragments were found, while the sharp implement was used to cut the soft tissue. The skull fragments were placed together by a pathologist who concluded that Mr Everett had been killed by repeatedly strikes to the head with a heavy blunt implement. Police believe Mr Everett, an unmarried former civil servant originating from Derby, was killed on the night of March 27th last year. So while the exact motive for the cold-blooded killing which preceded the brutal attempt by Marcin to cover his tracks may never be known, his trial heard of brewing tension in the shared house. Issues included Mr Everett attempted to pass on a rent increase to Marcin and a second housemate. Intriguingly, in 2021, Mr Everett told a woman he had met online that he had a male partner called Camille, but photos he sent of Camille were in fact of Marcin. camel, shared Marcin's date of birth, and, like his future murderer, had many tattoos. Also potentially significant that Marcin, who had no previous convictions or cautions, had taken out loans totaling £60,000 in 2023. He also made searches online indicating that he was considering leaving for Spain, including a search for long-term rentals in Alicante. Interviewed by police, Marcin said he knew nothing about the killing of Mr Everett or the disposal of his body parts. He said Mr Everett had not returned from visiting his brother in March, instead sending a message to say he'd been hospitalised due to a stroke. Asked if he believed Mr Everett was safe and well, jurors were told that Marcin replied, "I hope so, all he needs to be is checked." The prosecutor told jurors that this indeed happened, and those leads point to him being responsible for murdering Stuart Everett.
Stay inside, you're detained for the purpose of a search while you ascertain your identity, okay?
Or if you could pass me your mobile number for
Just one stand up first.
Can you double check, please?
It's 12 minutes past 1. It's meeting time. You're under arrest on suspicion of murder. Do you understand the offence? You're under arrest for the meeting time. Okay. Suspicion of murder for an incident which occurred in Salford. All right. So you were taken to police station for question regarding that.
Okay, I go with you and I answer any questions.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
The searching it over. The housemate,
Just make sure you got nothing in your waistband there.
do it again if you want to, but
Right. I've seen that, mate. What's your head?
What's your head?
Police discovered that Marcin had taken out a phone in Mr Everett's names months before his death. The 3rd of April, he researched Mr Everett's brother's address and sent him a birthday card purportedly from the dead man. Meanwhile, the phone was also used to access Mr Everett's bank accounts at the murder trial. Marcin did not give evidence in his defence. In his closing speech, the barrister Peter Wright accepted that the evidence pointed to his client having dumped Mr Everett's body parts, but he said he continued to deny having killed and dismembered him. Jurors have heard that the second housemate was originally also accused of murder, but the charges against him were dropped by prosecutors before the trial. The prosecutor highlighted, however, that that man who worked at a food processing business with access to industrial quantities of cling film must have been at the house when Mr Everett was killed. He suggested there remained lingering doubts about whether that guy had played any role, arguing that there was sufficient doubt for them to acquit the client. It took jury 1 hour and 36 minutes to convict Marcin. After the guilty verdict was delivered, Mr Everett's brother said in a statement, "Even though it has been almost 12 months, we are still haunted by what has happened. This has been made more difficult knowing the lengths that have gone to orchestrating my brother's death. Benny is our family nickname for our endearing and loving Stuart. For any person to be treated in the way he was, brutally murdered and systematically and incomprehensively disposed of, has meant our family has been traumatised beyond belief. A couple of months ago, we spent our first Christmas without Benny. This should have been a happy and joyous period for us all, but it was tainted, and our Christmas dinner was not the same without him, and our family is now incomplete." Chief Superintendent Lewis Hughes said, "It was entirely possible Stuart was murdered for financial gain, given Marcin had debts and took control of his bank's accounts. He said Marcin also had a fascination with horror movies and gore, and that may have played a part in his actions. Marcin liked horror movies, and items found on his hard drive and tattoos pointed at an affinity with horror." So I just want to say rest in peace to the victim. My condolences go out to your family. It's your boy GT. Keep it locked, keep it real.